Today, I want to talk about something that I think is very important, and that is the right to water. The right to water is a fundamental human right. The right to water entitles everyone to have access to sufficient, safe, physically accessible, and affordable water for personal and domestic use. The right to safe drinking water was first recognized by the United Nations General Assembly and the Human Rights Council as part of a binding international law in 2010. But unfortunately, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has confirmed that there is unequal access to safe drinking water based mostly on race. And in 2016 to 2019, in the study that they conducted, it revealed that the public water systems that are consistently violating the Safe Drinking Water Act are 40% more likely to serve people of color. Joining us today is Reverend Edward Pinkney, who's in a battle to deal with this whole issue of safe drinking water and the right to it in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Welcome to the show, Reverend Pinkney.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. I'm excited, I'm excited just to be here. A lot of times, people don't, express how their emotions, but I'm a very, very emotional person. I know what needs to be done, and that's what I do. I tell you, this is huge, and thank you so much for having me. I mean, we have to make sure that we're doing what we do. My fight is not about Reverend Pinkney. It's about the future of our children. That's how I feel about that. So I can move on now and get into the water situation, because I think it's crucial that people understand how important water is. You see, sometimes
Yes.
we Black folks, we don't see it, but it's water. You cannot live and survive without water, no matter what. But here's what happened. One of the members of the Benton Harbor Community Water Council, Emma Canard, took 2 quarts of water to the present mayor, Marcus Muhammad. And she asked him to have it tested to find out how bad the water was. It was yellow. Nobody would have thought for a moment that anybody would drink this water, but yet still and bathe in this water. But she expected the mayor to go out and have it tested. Simple. He can have it done for free. But no, he didn't want to do it. Even today, he had never had that water tested. But here's what we did. After he refused to have the water tested, she brought it to me. I sent it out to the University of Michigan Biological Lab and had it tested. Came back over 300 parts per billion of lead. 15 is the action level. So we knew that we had to do something. We didn't know how bad the water was here in Benton Harbor, but we knew it was bad. But nobody really cared. It's Black folks. Who really care? Black folks don't care about Black folks. So how do you expect anybody else to? And they thought it was all right for the residents of Benton Harbor to drink this poisonous water. Your governor, the EPA, all of them, they thought it was all right. So what they did, they deputized my team to go out and test the water for them, because they didn't have a relationship inside the city of Benton Harbor to do this. They didn't have a relationship with the community. I'm talking about city government. They had no relationship. Even though most of them grew up in the city of Benton, they had no relationship. How do you get elected to an office and you don't have a relationship with the community? Unbelievable. But anyway, what we did, we started going out testing the water, because they had never completed 60 samples before. So what we did, first time we got 65 samples from them, brought it in, discovered that it turned out to be on the average of the 60, 22 parts per billion. And remember, 15 parts per billion is the action level, which is really high. You should have 0 amount of lead in your water. But 15 is acceptable in a Black community, you see. Unfortunately, that's the way it was. The first year, it came back 22 parts per billion. The second year, it came back 24 parts per billion. And the third year, it went as high as 33 parts. We had lead 889 parts per billion inside a woman's home. 89. 889 parts per billion of lead in her home. And they just had a young infant baby. We had one person who had 469 parts per billion of lead. And he gave that water to his dog, and it killed his dog. His dog died. You see, but yet and still, the city of Benton Harbor, who knew about this, never said a mumbling word. The state of Michigan, who knew about this, never said a mumbling word. The EPA, who knew about this, never said a mumbling word, because it's black folks. It's black folks. Anytime you're dealing with us, they figure that we can endure, because we have endured a lot. But they never ever talk about, let's help those black folks. Let's help them. Let's solve this problem. Let's cut the poison out of this water so they can have a future. Never.
So since they didn't seem to care or respond to what was going on within the community of Benton Harbor, what did you do to force their hand?
Well, here's what we did. My team, the Benton Harbor Community Water Council, we met, we argued, we debated, we did everything that you could think of. What I wanted to do was file this petition with the EPA. So I had to go out, get me a lawyer, get some other people involved, and bring them in. See, that's my team. See, a lot of times we don't want to bring other people in who might be able to help us. You see, if we'll bring in the enemy, but we won't bring in people to actually help. So what I did, I went and brought in people who knew what they was doing, who can help us. And we filed that petition with the EPA, and that started the ball rolling. The house was on fire before this, but not one person called the fire department to put this fire out. Not one. So somebody had to do it. That's when we went to work. See, here's the thing that shook them up. On September the 9th, we filed this petition. On September the 8th, somebody leaked it to the governor that we was filing on September the 9th. So in order to do damage control, she decided she was going to give Benton Harbor $20 million. Strictly damage control. But
Governor Whitmer, she decided that she was going to give the city of Benton Harbor $20 million. And she did that on the 8th and hoping that we would not file that petition on the 9th. You see, remember this one thing about white folks. They think they know us. They think that we're driven by money. They think everything we do is about money. I don't do things for money. I do things because it's the right thing to do. And I was sick and tired of my community being poisoned and nobody saying nothing. Not even people that lived inside the community. Something had to be done.